Hello, welcome back to the podcast. Hope you're all well. It's been a while since I've uploaded one just because I had so much stuff going on and haven't got around to editing them very quickly. But I've got more planned. I've got one planned next week and on the weekend as well. 2 next week actually. So there's more on the way. But in this episode, I'm talking with Emma Wilkins. She's like a talented graphic designer, an illustrator. I've known her since I was really young, when our families lived next door to one another. In recent times, Emma's helped me out with some graphic projects for the family business at Pyramid. In this episode, we talk about design, books, university, Star Wars, city living, AI, health, and creativity generally, really, amongst many other things. So if you're ready for all that, let's go. So you did graphic and communication design.
I did.
And why did you pick that out of all the different types of design and stuff?
Well, when I was looking around, it's kind of hard to explain. Like, it's graphic design there's a load of avenues that you can take for just specifically that. And if I was considering some niche courses, but that would sort of limit where I could progress in career-wise. So that's, I think, a reason why I chose to do graphic design and communication. And that not only is it graphic design, it's the commercial side of it all, and that's really the way, where the world is going. And that in terms of, how things are advertised and,
It's quite broad then.
Yeah, definitely. And I can go in any direction there. And I have considered doing like either a master's degree or, and that. So if I ended up doing, from where I am now, I could easily change paths and that, and still have that, that qualification to do.
Do you think you will go back and do that at some point, or not sure? Not at the moment.
Not sure at the moment, no. But
can you do it any time then? Can you just go back and
finish
I think
it?
So. Is that just a one more year?
It depends. I think masters can vary between 1 and 2 years.
Right.
But then again, it depends on what master's degree that you want to do. I think the majority are 1 year courses. So.
What are some of the niche subjects or courses that you were interested in? Or
I think where I am with the type of career that I've landed at the moment, I think thinking about it now, I'd go into a more marketing-based master's degree if I ended up going down that route, and that. But definitely commercially led in terms of sort of, I don't know, website sort of bits and that, which overlaps with what I'm doing now, but just obviously getting that more, a bit more experience.
I suppose there's, like you say, there's so many different kind of niches within graphic design, isn't there?
Oh, definitely.
And it's even some of the stuff you've done for us is that quite different to what you would normally do, or is it?
Well, like the logo that I've done for you and things in the past for
this
Pyramid,
podcast.
and yes, definitely.
That's Emma's work. Yeah. Should have mentioned that.
Yep. That's the key thing.
Yeah, that's the key one.
It's nice because I think one thing about design is no matter how vast it is, you can. I mean, it's exactly that. You can do whatever, and anything around you, anything visual is graphic design. I think a lot of people mistake that, and that they don't understand that everything around you is design. Not necessarily that it's graphic design, but
design in any sense.
Design in any sense.
Surrounded by it.
Yeah, you are literally, because if if you don't have design, then you don't have anything really, do you?
Yeah, that's it. Everything around you, someone came up with.
Yeah, exactly.
And chose to do it in that way.
Yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it?
I remember when back in school, and now God knows how many years ago, and that they were thinking about getting rid of the arts and humanities, sort of bits like art and or reducing it to a certain point. And I'm thinking that's just a load of rubbish.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, if they do that, they're just going to take out probably majority, like literally big chunk of, industries and that. And it's,
I would say it's more important now than ever, really, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think the way that the world's gone, it's definitely a key, contributor to how society works, really.
Yeah, there's so much stuff that people earn a living from is creative work, isn't it?
I said part of my job is to not persuade but encourage people to buy this, buy that, and and that sort of thing. So yeah, it's challenging, but it is important to get that across.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Marketing and sort of, what do you think? One of the questions I had was, I wrote it about posters, but I suppose adverts in general and just marketing. Like, what would you say are some of the key? What do you think are some of the key things that make a good advert website?
Well, that again depends on the actual category that whatever you're trying to promote is based in. So let's just go for I'm a Gymshark. Let's say Gymshark. And that, so because of the type of clothing apparel brand that it is, they're all about community, they're all about obviously the fitness aspect of it, so obviously visually you want to promote that, content wise and in terms of copy and how you sort of use how you promote their brand with the words and and all of that,
the values and things
like that. The values, definitely. You need to bring that across. You need to use strong language in that, and you need to sort of.
It's cat's meowing in the background. Strong, you got to bring that across in a strong way.
Yeah.
So that's where you start then, really, when you're thinking about something to improve someone's appearance online or whatever.
Yeah, you need to bring across those values, heighten those. And then, I mean, it's not necessarily a key thing, this, but lifestyle photography and that to promote the look of your brand, and that is a key thing nowadays. I mean, it's sort of the attention span of a lot of people are just they don't want to read bunches and bunches of text.
No.
They don't. They're literally short and snappy paragraphs, like slogans and all that. That's the way to go.
Quite visual as well.
Visual, yeah. So it's all about the few seconds that they see it straight away. So that on a website, the actual initial page, obviously the homepage that you go onto, the initial view needs to grab their attention. You need to see what the brand is, know what they're offering, and be immersed and intrigued by that to then go forward. So that's the key challenge of websites.
It's interesting, isn't it? I spoke to someone recently, and they said, I said, oh yeah, people spend an average of 2 minutes on our website, but on ASOS they spend 10.
It's significantly less on some websites and that. No, because I've been on I've seen some websites in my day and that, and I'm just thinking, who designed this? Not to be and it's because obviously it's all about easy navigation for the user, and you think about, you have to, as a designer, you have to ask yourself, are the users who've never gone on this website before going to be able to navigate it with ease, know how to get what they want, how to search for what they want, and all of that? And if you can do that, then it's a good, effective website. If you can't, then you need to rethink some things.
I think even someone I suppose the ideal would be even if it is a specific section of a marketplace, even a person who doesn't understand that marketplace should be able to get through it sort of thing and understand
Simple
it.
is always better.
Even
if it's a mega brand with a hell of a lot to actually to sell, to offer, need it as simple as possible. You really do.
I agree with that,
which
definitely.
Is the big challenge, because if you've got a lot to offer, and it's a way of categorizing that and sectioning it out within the different pages, and which ones are more important, and that's where the hierarchy comes into play.
It's interesting because I remember James, our web guy, was saying that I think he said something stupid, 70% of the people who end up on the website end up on a product page first. And I thought that was quite interesting. I never really considered it, because obviously we've got this thing at the start of our website where you can pick make, model, year for your motorcycle, and I always thought, oh yeah, people get on and they go through that, but actually Google is leading them into
it depends on what you search into, because then it will come with different options.
And it's almost like Google's a better search engine for our own website than our website.
It's an assist, isn't it? You know, if you're not quite sure how to sort of navigate and all that, it's a helping hand really. But it's kind of spooky how obviously like you get all of that and thinking, I didn't even think about that, and then I've got that up. It's spooky, but it's good.
yeah, definitely. What kind of like sizes of businesses do you guys work with? Is it broad or is it quite?
It varies. We've got big clients and small clients, but yeah.
Is it mainly Amazon stuff as well?
Yes.
A lot of Amazon. So how does that come into play then? Do you mean someone who's selling on Amazon? How does that work? Do you mean they want to have their own website as well, or is it kind of?
That again depends. I mean, they want to be online. Whether they're online already or not, and obviously it depends on what they want, and then obviously what we can offer them.
So it's just, maybe sometimes it's just like an improvement in some way, or
or
simple
starting from scratch,
really,
that sort of thing. So
starting from scratch, that sounds quite challenging. I suppose it's I don't know. It's easier to start from scratch sometimes than it is to try and improve stuff.
It's a challenge to. It's like when I was doing my industry year at uni. Yeah. We did a lot of brand repositioning. So obviously that entails like the brands already exist, and it's just repositioning them into their sector of the market, and that, which is a big challenge really, because you have to consider the competitors and what they're offering and how they're operating, and then how we can differ from them and be better than them, basically.
It's important, isn't it?
I mean, it's the same, wherever, whatever kind of.
Yeah, you can always compare. There's always someone else doing the same thing. There's
always someone better, there's always someone worse. You you just have to be as best as you can and promote that that, so you can get that target audience. Yes. Yeah,
definitely, 100%. Yeah. So, what do you think about? You've asked me to sort of be quite like organised, and I'm not good at it.
No, okay.
But this is in the same vein. But I've just realised I've gone all over the place already.
Oh.
What do you think about like digital marketing and physical marketing? Like what that like trade off between those two things? Like, because obviously the world's changed a lot.
Yes.
Do you think like digital marketing is more important than physical marketing now, or is that not right?
That's a tough one. I mean, they're both equally as important as each other, because not everyone goes online. They don't necessarily have the means or the opportunity to see things, digitally. So you do need those physical promotional bits. But I think, as you said, the way that the world's going now, the majority is online, is digital. So.
It's the growing space.
Yeah, definitely. The way they're designed, though, they're pretty much on a par with each other. They're very, very similar. It's just, obviously, with online, you've got the added bonus of video content. You've got, you can put music in there as well. And you've got a hell of a lot more space in that. And it's also less hassle to sort of like print and produce all of it and that. So and it's working. And online, obviously, you've got the added expanse of it can go nationwide, worldwide as well. So it's easily transportable between audiences and that. So it reaches a wider range of customers. So I think that's obviously one benefit of why it's gone digital. But I think it's just how the world works, and that it's everyone's on digital now. So why do we might as well just stick on digital. So.
I suppose the more digital it goes, though, like eventually it will be quite interesting to do like physical stuff, because it'll be more unique.
Yeah,
and you'll stand out a bit in a different way.
Yeah. I mean, some things now you still need, and really only can work in the physical terms. But obviously, say like if you're like a big gamer or something, you can't really understand the sort of like a promotion of a game without video content. And that, so you need digital. But things like, I don't know, like books or other bits like learning resources or something. I know obviously like some things like that have online, you know, with apps and all of that sort of thing. But you've got all the means, or like they promote themselves in those types of environments. So they promote them in schools and all of that. So yeah.
Cat's just on the sofa behind us now, having a look round. Do you like reading books, like physical books?
Yes. Yeah. So I don't have a Kindle. I don't, you know, do that. I prefer to open the book, turn the page, have the smell.
Have the thing.
Have the smell, have the physical thing. And it's, you immerse yourself in a book and that. And it's just, because I mean, I'm on the screen all day, every day for work.
Yeah.
And if I want to come home after that day and then read a book, I don't want to be stuck on a screen again for a couple hours. That before bed or whatever. I want to be, you know, I want to have that different environment, different experience. So,
that's true. Yeah, it's an important thing. I did try a Kindle for a while, but like you say, I like the like I went to the Oxfam once and bought a couple of like old books. I think one was The Outsider by, what's his name, French writer, I think, French African writer. And just the book was so old and like had all, like you say, had this smell to it, and the colour of the pages was like, it was all tatty, and the guy had written notes in it and stuff. And I like that. It's cool. It's interesting.
Yeah.
But I wonder how long it will last. I mean, things come back and go away, don't they, as well?
They do.
Like vinyl's a good example of that.
It's like some sort of clothing fashions and they're coming back. So like I've seen, I don't know, 60s and 70s styles coming back, and that, but obviously just with a modern twist.
Yeah, so, that's it. Yeah. So your parents are both doctors, aren't they?
Dad's a doctor, yes.
And your mum was a nurse?
Yeah, mum's a nurse practitioner.
Yeah. Why are you and your son...
I don't have kids, no, it's too early for that.
Sorry. Why are you and your brother, their son, why are they creative? It's a weird place to come from, isn't it? I
can't answer that.
No.
I can answer why I haven't followed their footsteps, but I don't know about Samuel. But that's
his own story.
I'm squeamish when it comes to anything blood related, and you know, it's just this. Oh no, hospitals freak me out. Basically, to put it short.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking I'm never gonna, you know, have the gut to do that sort of job. So I've been a natural sort of creative all my life, and that because because I've loved drawing since I was like 2, 3, and that I've literally drawn my whole life.
Wow. I was going to ask you like how long you've been doing it for, like
all my life. There you go. There's your answer.
What did you like to draw when you were really, really young?
Oh God. You're going back 24 years. You're going back too far. No.
Oh, I can remember what I used to like to draw. But I suppose it's easier for me because I've stopped drawing.
Right. So like, you got the fond memories, and I'm just carrying on. You know, I've got loads.
Yeah.
I can tell you what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
I do a lot of sort of like Star Wars ones at the moment because I'm a big fan. And I do anything really as well. So like, because I do commissions. I'm doing a Star Wars one at the moment, commission wise. But I think it's just what you fancy doing in the moment. It can be anything. It can be like a really, really small doodle, you know, or something like a really big, massive piece. Because I've done a lot of floral, nice little floral ones, and I tend not to do like, because when I create my own pieces, I tend to do landscapes and all of that. And then if I wanted to do sort of portraits and all of that, it would be film related, or you know, that sort of thing. So
characters
characters and that. So that would be where Star Wars comes in. I've done like Avatar ones as well.
So when you're doing like Star Wars, do you or anything, do you like reference stuff directly, or do you kind of do you like to copy it in as like perfectly as possible, or do you like to sort of let it be sort of more
I do have
free?
I can do multiple types of styles and in different mediums, but I think I've found my sort of preferred niche, which is pen and ink art.
Yeah.
And I tend to do obviously just freehand type of expression and that, but I do quite a lot of pointillism, so it's basically just a hell of a lot of dots, which takes so much time. It really does, but it gives it a nice sort of delicate effect, and you can get a lot of expression in that.
Really?
Yeah, you really can.
Never had a go at that. So is it say it's more time consuming?
Yes, because it's basically, it depends on what pens you use as well, because to get that finite type of detail, I use a really, really thin pen. Because I remember doing my brother one of Darth Maul, that took about just under 6 months to do, and it was an A3 size.
Jesus Christ.
And I was doing a bit of that every night after
just
work.
a little bit.
Yeah, so
that sounds quite challenging.
but then again, Darth Maul is very dark, and that's why I had to do
loads and
loads of dots.
That's how I basically paint it all solid.
Yeah, exactly.
But with just dots.
Yeah.
I suppose it's quite therapeutic though, isn't it?
Oh, it is. Yeah, I mean, I sometimes have not all the time, but I have some music on in the background. But a lot of the time, I have the TV on, just for background noise, or just silence, and if I want silence. So it really is. It's the what you prefer your environment to be, and that, and how you can focus.
Yeah.
And that, because sometimes people might like to be outside if it's nice, nice weather, and then doing that, and then just hearing nature and that sort of thing. It depends on what calms you and that, and gets you in that zone of drawing.
Yeah. It's good fun, isn't it? Being creative in your spare time, and if you can do stuff that's like you say, just makes you feel sort of at ease and all that sort of thing.
I think one thing about my job and that is the fact that it is obviously creative and it is my hobby, so I technically don't feel like I'm working at all.
Really?
Yeah.
No, you really enjoy it?
Yeah, I really enjoy it, yeah. But it's
great.
I can tell I'm working, but it doesn't feel like that
pain
when I'm actually designing. But when I'm obviously doing all the communication with clients, the client calls and all that sort of thing, I know I'm working.
Yeah.
And then obviously the definition between obviously the work and then my drawing and all of that, sometimes it doesn't separate from each other, because it's just the same
continuation.
Type of continuation. Yeah, but
that's nice. That's great to feel like that about your job. That's really good. So you always knew you wanted to do what you did at uni, really? You were sort of...
Well, I was debating
not
between...
the exact call,
No, I knew I wanted to do something creative, for sure. But what, I didn't know what I was wanting to do. But it would have either been art related or, as it turns out, graphics. But I really only started graphic design when I was in my GCSEs. Not GCSEs, A-levels.
Yeah.
And that, because I did... fine art and all that up to GCSE, and I did that in A-level, and then I chose graphics and that, and I just loved it really. And I'm thinking, what opportunities could I have if I did a fine art degree? And that probably not as much as graphic design, and that, even though because fine art is within graphic design as well, so it all interlinks.
Yeah, you could be a fine artist, graphic designer.
Yeah. So like with fine art, I was thinking, what could I be? I could be a teacher. I could be, working in a gallery or that sort of thing, which did appeal to me at one point. But I'm thinking, what would I eventually really, really want to do? And then I was thinking, I'm not quite sure, but if I go for something that has more avenues at the end of it and is more open to the possibilities, then I think
it's got more chance.
Yeah, and then that's why I chose my graphic design degree, because I can include my art in that. I can obviously do that graphic side.
Yeah.
And there's got more potential at the end of it. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's a more sort of easily linked into business and things like that, isn't it?
So I was sort of playing it safe.
Yeah.
But it was worth it in the end.
It's worked out for you though. If you've got a job that you enjoy, that doesn't always feel like work, because
most jobs do always feel like work.
Oh, don't get me wrong. Some days are long.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, like, yeah. And
I know exactly what you mean though. When you've got like a load of admin to do to be able to get done, so that you can do the next bit of like creative work. It's a bit like, oh, I've got to get this out of the way, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I suppose it's just part of a lot of jobs now, isn't it? Because any job really, you've got to be able to communicate with people through like multiple different mediums, and like people like to talk to you in different ways, don't they? So like some people will ring you up and some people will email you.
Yeah.
So it's it's cool. Did you enjoy the uni experience?
Yes, at the beginning, because it was a brand new thing. Got to meet a load of new people, and then just getting into that next stage of education. That was the excitement right at the beginning, and then obviously getting to know more about what you wanted to do as a profession. So the first year and second year were really good.
Yeah.
But it did come with its issues, and I wish I won't divulge into and that, but that's uni for you.
Yeah.
And then the third year was my English year, so I was moved to London.
Yeah.
And that for a year, so that was definitely challenging, but that definitely improved my confidence and all of that. And that
was your kind of placement thing, then,
yes,
was it?
Yeah, it was my placement year, so it was very, very eye-opening and definitely worth it. And then didn't even want to go back for my final year, because it was just like I've been out for so long in doing the real thing. I'm thinking it's amazing how you can, so like even while you're still in uni, while you're doing that, you can see how different the actual real world is to uni, because I realise now that what we did at uni was so unrealistic to what the real world is in my profession. It's I mean, the amount of work that you get, is just exponentially more in uni, and that is unrealistic in that sense. But the things that I had, I don't know, a whole semester to do at uni, I have to do in a few days or even a day at work and that. And it's amazing, because like you've got so much time in uni to sort of like think about it, but then it sort of encourages procrastination.
It's
and it's not it's not really, you don't feel like you're in the doing it for real and all that sort of thing. And
so you felt like you learned more from just the actual placement?
I literally I learned more in that placement year. That was I actually worked because obviously that's when sort of COVID hit in the early beginning of the year. I learned far more in that space, in the space of 14 months than I did in the first 2 years at uni, because the tutors only really teach you a certain amount and that. But and the one thing that I kind of like but I didn't like in my course was that the first year they were relatively hands-on, but that was only for the first semester, and then they were just like, here's your brief, get on with it.
It's up to you to do.
So in a way I like the independence, but they didn't really give you any sort of guidance. They just thought they'd expect you to know it. And I remember that obviously when I met a few of my friends that I've still got now, and that they had no design experience prior to uni,
really?
and then they needed to sort of get a bit more of that help, obviously with the Adobe suites and all the software and that. And I remember teaching them a few bits and that, because they didn't know, because the tutors wouldn't. So you're there to learn, and it's, again, it varies from uni to uni, but you're there to learn. And if they don't offer you that help,
what's the point?
What is the point?
Well, just done it at home.
Yeah, exactly.
Or with your mates or something.
Yeah.
I felt the same. I mean, it was only sixth form that I did. I didn't go to uni, but I felt the same about product design. Because obviously, I did product design in sixth form, and now that's what I do really. And it's just like I learned nothing really in sixth form. And it's just like it was sixth form, so it's even less so than uni, I would imagine, by quite a way. And it just felt like it's just, I don't know what the point was in those 2 years really. It seemed pointless. Could have been getting on with something real, but I don't know, it's hard to say like what helps you. Obviously the communication with like people of the same age of you is really important, isn't it? Spending time with people that are like-minded and things like that. But yeah, it's strange. I don't feel like I've missed out by not going to uni myself, but obviously I'm in a different position.
Yeah.
But,
depends on what you want to do. I mean, I know a few of my friends haven't gone to university and then they're doing really well for themselves. It depends on, you know, what end goal you want.
Yeah. I feel like people can, if they're keen enough, they can just learn to do anything really.
Exactly,
if they're really interested in it. And that's one of my questions really. Talent versus work ethic. How do you see those two things?
Out
of the blue.
Well, I've always thought I do have a good work ethic because throughout GCSEs, A levels, and uni, I was always ahead in my books, and I wasn't particularly easily distracted or whatever. I was keen, like really, really focused.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be because I wanted to do well. So I think my work ethic was, you know, to a T. But
I suppose, I mean, generally, like, do you think people around you, and like, you have to name names obviously, but like, do you think talent versus work ethic, do you think some people just work hard and therefore do well, or some people are just talented? I suppose it can be both really.
Yeah, I mean, I have come across people who have the talent but lack the work ethic, and they do the bare minimum but they can still do well because of that. And in a way that's kind of frustrating because I think that I do have the talent for certain things, and obviously because I have the work ethic and that I put a lot more time into doing it and making sure I'm sort of quite a perfectionist in some areas, so I put a lot of time into it to make sure it's perfect, you know, to make sure it's on point to what I actually want to hand in. So like obviously when I was at uni, and then you know, there's just people who do it like that, and I'm just like,
frustrating.
Go away.
It's too easy for them.
Yeah, and that but I would rather be the way I was, and that because I know that I put the effort in, no matter what I got in the end. I knew that I put the effort in, and I knew I tried my best, and that's all really that you need. You know, as long as you know that you've done all that you can, that's the main feeling that you want to get out of it.
I think I feel the same. Like I think. I'm happy to get stuck into stuff, but I never think I'm like really great at my job. Like in terms of, I don't think I'm the best with shapes and stuff. But like you say, I see some other people and I think, God, they're so good at it, but they don't really like.
You might be good at one thing, but you might be better at something else that they're not. So it's
a combination.
Yeah,
isn't
it's
it?
a combination.
It's always a combination, definitely. I haven't really looked at this. I need to cut some out. What do you think about AI art? AI art.
Have
you seen all this stuff that's been happening where it's just like you type something in and it just brings out?
To be honest, I've tried to avoid it.
Yeah.
Because it's creepy.
Yeah.
But in a way, for efficiency purposes, I think it's pretty good. And a lot of, I don't know the ins and outs of everything, but
no, neither do I.
I'm probably not the best one to ask.
I'm talking broad statement, but I've seen people, creating stuff that's just like, wow, that's not
I mean, if you want things like instantly, I think it's a good thing, a good tool to have. But design has to have thought in it. It has to, because you're talking to human beings. You're not talking to computers.
Yeah.
Even though you're designing it, on artificial bits and that you are physically talking to another human being. So with AI, you're eliminating that human contact. Which won't necessarily, I mean, I'm not necessarily saying like it will eliminate it, but it will eliminate a lot of that sort of connection that you can get and the necessary language that you need to communicate.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. It's a strange one. It's interesting to me, like, I wonder how it's going to go, because all that stuff's getting more and more powerful all the time, and
we're going to be run by robots probably.
Yeah. How do you think about like the digital world? Do you think it's a bit scary, or are you sort of not worried? obviously your job's very digital, so
Yeah, I mean, I like it as it is. You know, I like the fact that we've got it as an assist.
Yeah.
Not that I wouldn't really want it to, you know, override what we do. And that, so in that sense, it is quite scary to sort of think that maybe we could be overrun by it. And that, because we are consumed by technology.
Yeah.
And nowadays, how the world works, we need technology to, you know, make a simple phone call or you know, text messages and all that sort of thing. So having it as in an assist type of role, I think is probably more comfortable for me personally. But so how everything is now, spot on and that. But other than if it goes any further, I'm probably going to be, because I'm not, I mean, our generation, you know, 24, 25 and all that, is our generation's grown up with technology, but I'm not. I'm not even tech savvy in a lot of things.
You're not?
No, I'm not. I mean, I get confused with how to update my computer sometimes, and but if you talk anything about design and that, I know you know, all that I do need to know. So you know, I'm fine with that. But other than that, it's just like, what do I do with this? You know, what do I do with that? I'm just like, I have no idea.
Maybe you've got your fill though from all the design stuff, because there's so many like different things to know on all that software, isn't there? Yeah,
so it's kind of, it's backwards really, because some of the I think probably quite a lot of the design things are complex in the way of how to operate it and all of that, and I can do all of that, and then the simplest things which aren't design related are just common sense on technology. I'm like, I have no clue. I absolutely have no clue. Which is just a funny thing. Like, it's just,
no man, I've always
you think I would know. I would know all of
that.
I
would expect you to say that you were good at it.
No, definitely not.
I think, Are you like, do you play games at all or anything like that?
I do play games, I play Sims a lot, and then there's what was it, Planet Coaster, play that as well. Awesome games.
Never played that one before.
Oh, it's really good.
Played Sims a few times.
It's you can literally, it's so much better than like Roller Coaster Tycoon. It's really good. Are
you into games as much as your brother?
No.
No. He's a bit like I used to be, probably. So.
Yeah, I mean, I've got...
Actually, to be fair, I'm still a bit like it.
No, I said I like the games, and I like that sort of escapism that, you know, comes with it. And that, but I've also got my art. And all of that to escape from and that. But, you know, Samuel's just, you know, he's got gaming and that. And whatever else he decides to do.
I've got the same thing. I was just thinking when you said that about like being tech savvy and stuff, like I feel like games, and especially playing new games all the time, keeps you really up to date with like how technology's working. Because I think games influence a lot of like even just like UIs and stuff on them influences like loads of other areas on computers and things. And but I have played some games and just thought I'm out of my depth. Like Fortnite, when I played that first time.
That is a weird game.
That game's crazy.
It's weird.
I can't get into that, and it's just like having to shoot people and like build buildings at the same time.
Weird.
I was just
weird.
And there's just these kids running around me like I just couldn't get anywhere near them. So it's just like that's the first time I felt kind of old when I played a game.
But what baffles me though is like, you've got like kids that are like 5 years old who are playing games, got mobile phones and all that. I'm thinking, that is way too young. I mean, when I was in London and I regularly saw toddlers in the pram with an iPad on the tube. I'm like, what is the world coming to? And that's another thing that I'm scared about with technology and all that, because they are controlling our lives. And that no matter what our view is,
they're interested in it like immediately. Like even my nephew Benji, he's like not even 1 yet, and he's. You have to be careful. Adam was saying to me like a while ago, and I tried to do it myself as well last night when I looked after him. Like, just try not to use your phone, because as soon as you do use your phone, they're interested in it. They just, what are you doing with that? Like, you're staring into a little box.
They've got the attention. You know, they got the attention span. And
it's like
they learn from you.
I think a lot of parents use it as like a
I'd say that's the last resort, because you want to. it's their prime time to learn, to grow in the sense. So you need to expose them to all different things and not just technology. I mean, yes, it is a big chunk of our lives and how it runs and that, but it's by far not the most important thing, because if you think about all those years when, you know, everyone, you know, our parents, grandparents, great-grandparents were growing up, didn't have any of that.
Didn't need it.
No, didn't need it at all. And, you know, there's so many more things you can do to, you know,
in the world.
To introduce them to, and, you know, which are far, far better than technology.
100%. Yeah, it's really important, I think. Sorry, I'll just
take your time.
I probably need to just put them in order, don't I? Really?
Yes, you do. One thing you need to come, you know, when you come out of this and that organise.
Yeah, you're right. I need to do that. I've just been thinking, it's cool not to, but it's just not. That's my dad coming through.
And that's another important thing for design and that or any type of job, be organised.
Organisation.
Yeah, organisation is key.
I struggle with it.
In any profession.
Yeah.
Organisation.
How do you keep yourself organised? Like, do you use any sort of apps or anything to do it?
We do a lot of time management things. So we see what type of work and for which type of clients, and that we how long we spend on all of those, and that, so we can manage our time correctly, prioritisation. And then personally, I have my diary. I have, you know, obviously like my notebook as well, and then all personal notes and
take actual notes. Do you?
Oh yeah. I prefer obviously to write that in an actual notebook instead of on the computer.
Do you?
As well, because it's easy. It's faster to do. And that obviously when you're actually writing it embeds itself in your brain, and you can just tick it off straight away. Nice, satisfying feeling. That's
interesting. It really does. That does work, does it? It really stays in your head.
For me, yeah.
I've never tried that. Really.
No, because if you do it on the computer, you're like, it doesn't feel any different from, I don't know, writing a bit of text.
Yeah.
You know, on a website, say
it's done in 5 seconds.
Yeah. Obviously, sometimes yes, it is quicker, but then you obviously have to think, right, where's the highlighter? And you have to click on that, and you have to click on that, and it's not as efficient sometimes. And it just, you know, on a pad and paper, and that you got your highlighter, you got your pen, right in front of you. You know where to go. You know.
I need reminders.
Simple,
I do. That's
because then not all the time. You don't have your computer on all the time.
No.
And if you want to look at your notes when you don't have your computer. And that if you know, going for a walk, or, you know, having your lunch without your computer on, you know, on hand and that, and then you literally can go through your notes.
Yeah. I try different things all the time. I've tried loads of different things. I've tried Google Keep, which is pretty good. That you can have on your phone as well, which is quite cool. I've recently, you know Slack, the messaging system. Do you guys use that?
Yes.
That's got a function where you can send yourself, you can do it with any message, but you can send yourself a message, and then you can set it to remind you about it at a certain time.
Yeah, it's very good.
I like that, to be fair. I found that really good recently. But yeah, organisation is just like, I find it quite tricky to do. I wish I was better at it, but it's...
Find what you feel is the best way for you to keep everything,
you
know, intact, and then that's the way to go.
You just got to keep doing it, haven't you, in that way?
So don't get me wrong, I put things on the computer as well for note-wise, but I have multiple sort of resources of notes and stuff. So
that's the problem, isn't it, though? I don't want to end up with like things in all sorts of different places. I want it to be like easy to use, but I always find myself... All
you need is one notebook, and then you just rip out the page and when you don't need it.
I might try it, physical notebook, because I know there's plenty of people at our place who do it. Gemma takes physical notes. I think my mum does as well. What do you think about most, past, present, or future?
What do I think about past, present?
Yeah, how do you like, when you sort of got downtime or whatever, what do you think about the most?
The future is unknown.
Yeah.
The present, a lot of the time, is still unknown.
Yeah.
But
It's a hard question to answer.
It is a very hard question. Like, with work, you know, in the present and that in the future, you're sort of setting yourself a goal to get to a certain point.
Yeah.
Even if it's obviously for the following week or whatever, you need to get so and so done and that, and so that's your present, obviously your planning and all that sort of thing. But my personal life is pretty much a go with the flow type of thing. Even though I do like to not necessarily structure what I do, but it's nice to sort of have a plan.
Yeah.
Because then you're thinking, what am I going to do? Like, it comes to the weekend, you're like, I don't know what to do. What should I do? Who should I meet up with? You know, and that sort of thing. But then when you've got a plan, you're thinking, right, I want to go to the gym.
Yeah.
I want to write my book. I want to meet my friends for coffee or something like that. You got that sort of plan, and then if you want to do any more sort of like spontaneous activities, you can work a way around that. So,
So like a bit of a loose plan, really.
Yeah. So
General.
a few little plans, and that I'd like to have. But anything else is just up in the air and whatever I decide to do in the moment. Sort
a
of
little
thing.
bit in the moment.
Yeah.
I suppose I've asked like lots of different people that question, and I find that people who are a bit older tend to think more about the past. And
It's just nostalgic, isn't it? Like, 'cause I mean, thinking about the past and that, one thing that I would love is a proper night's sleep.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a light sleeper now, and I think that just comes with age.
Yeah.
And that, because when I was, you know, when I was like 15 or 16, I started to just not sleep as well. And I think that's just an element of growing up and that. And then obviously adding that more responsibility to your life.
Yeah.
You've got more things on your mind, so it's harder to sort of take that out and just switch off.
Yeah.
Because I always feel like I'm on everything. I just like, I don't switch off at all. And like, yes, I can switch off from work, but because work is creative, my other creative things, I still don't feel like I'm switching off. So that's the clash. Sometimes that's the negative part of you know, both of work-life balance.
Being the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Work-life balance. You feel like you maybe go a bit too hard then sometimes, and you're not sure when to turn off.
No, that's the downside to what to what I do.
To doing what you enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, I love to go above and beyond and sort of just
definitely
go for it at work and you know and any type of freelance things that I do as well and that. So it
100%.
really, I mean, I don't mind if I just do my work all like constantly because it's just I love it. So I honestly don't mind because you know, yes, you've got obviously the boring sides of work like anything else, but to be fair, it's not really boring.
No,
I mean,
it's just interesting,
and it's just designing and that, and it's just you know what I was probably meant to do. Probably.
I've always been like quite surprised. Like I remember the first time we gave you because Emma's done like a couple of like sticker kits for some of our
I have indeed, yes.
And I remember thinking like I think me and Adam were saying like, oh, I wonder if she'll like. I said we're talking about how you do with it because it's a bit different to what you normally do. Maybe I don't know.
It's a nice break.
It's
a nice break. So I remember the first one that I did was I think in between uni and before I got my current job.
Yes.
So it's a nice sort of thing because technically I count that obviously it's freelance work that I do because obviously aside from my 9 to 5 I do freelance and then art commissions as well. So I'll always like being on something, you know, but being busy and that sort of thing. So I just count it as freelance and that. It's just nice because you pick and choose what you want to do and that. So I purposely choose something different to work. And so you got that separation
and balance.
Yeah.
I suppose is it quite tricky finding new people to do stuff for, or is it?
It is. I mean, it helps when you know people and when they know other people, and that is in any type of organisation and industry. You need to have that connection is key, really, isn't it? So you know, it's who you know. But I mean, again. That's the one beauty of online, and that you can communicate with people that you don't necessarily have to have met. But you can still have a very good working relationship with them.
It's amazing, isn't it?
And you can do something for them.
I've used like there's plenty of different folks on Fiverr for like design work, and I'll like scan something with my phone and then send them the scan and just be like, can you just model this for me? Because it's complex and I'm not very good at it. And then they just send me it back and it's like, great, that's done for me now. I can carry on with the rest of it or whatever. And it's brilliant. You speak to some really interesting people, like, and I always try and ask them a bit about themselves as well, so they sort of brings that connection together again, because I think a lot of people just sort of onto the next process. I think the human like sort of connection is really important. It's kind of what you were saying about AI stuff. Really, it's like you do need that, otherwise you don't get much out of it, I don't think. And but yeah, I was going to say, like, I thought I was really like, as soon as you'd done the first one, I was like, all right, I can just send you them now because you know how to do it. And like you got the language, like you said, you were talking about the language and like the vibe of like whatever you're doing. Like you obviously looked around a bit before you did the drawing, and you sort of thought, this is how it needs to look, and then went forward. It's really important.
Yeah, I mean, in creative bits and that, you need to get that inspiration, or just to get the feeling of what's out there already, obviously, because obviously you don't want to have a replica of someone else's and that, because then that will cause problems. But
it needs to be a bit different.
Definitely, but you need to have that authenticity in what you do, and which is again another challenge, and that, so you're constantly facing challenges and that, because everything that you design is in the public eye, and you need to have that. You know, it needs to be effective to work.
Yeah. How do you like living in cities? So you lived in London and now you live in Leeds, don't you?
Yes.
How do you like it? Do you enjoy it?
I love it. Yeah. I think while I'm as old as I am, I think it's a great environment to be in, and that, and you experience different things and that, and I know, like, obviously I went to uni in Leeds, and then now I'm living in Leeds. It's a different experience because you're not studying, you're living. You know, you're an adult now. You're earning a living. You're trying to just pay your way. You're doing, you know, your job and that, and it's a different experience. You know, it feels different, and it feels rewarding, I think. For me, achieving sort of like having those 4 years done and dusted, and now being in a position that I am in, and that it just makes me feel sort of like proud of what I've done. Like, I've scrambled through those yees as hard as they were, definitely the final year, and that stuck in one room and that, because it was COVID, and I'm not even meeting anyone, not just literally on Zoom for all the lessons, lectures, and
sounds crap,
you know, private things, and it's just it was mega challenging. In a way it was kind of nice though, because I just got to be at home and that, and
comfort zone,
pajamas all the time.
I suppose it's easy to like enjoy it in a way, because it's like, especially looking back
chill.
as well.
It's chill. It was definitely chill, but it was sort of, everyone was heightened with concern and all of that, and it took the fun out of the experience, because I'm not really a person to go out. So even when it was pre-COVID, I never really had that university experience, because in Leeds, it starts at uni, and then obviously you can do it, you know, when you're older, and that is it's called the Otley Run. So you do drinking from Headingley to then Leeds Centre, and you dress up and all that. It never really appealed to me. So I never did any of that and that. So I was always head in my books and that, and then obviously there was no opportunity to do, you know, to go out and do that sort of thing in final year. So I wasn't really missing anything really. It wasn't anything different from what I was already doing. It was just, you know, I was living back at my parents at that point, and that's why I had them, and that, which was really nice. And that, but yeah, it was definitely a challenge with that.
Did you get on well with both your parents?
Yes.
Yeah. Both of them the same.
As annoying as they are sometimes, like any parent, you know. And so
I like speaking
dads
to your
with
parents.
dad jokes. Who don't shut up about the dad jokes.
I like speaking to your parents. They're good fun. And I like your dad's jokes. I mean, I suppose if he was my dad, they'd get a bit monotonous, but
every 2 seconds he's just like, you can tell when he's cooking up something, because he just doesn't say anything, and then he's just, you can tell his cogs are turning in his head, and then he says it, and then you're like, oh god.
Oh dear.
Dreadful.
You knew it was coming anyway.
But some of them like he does come up with are good, so I'll grant him that. But
he's got a few good ones. He was telling me about he said they used to get magazines about the like medical magazines.
That I don't know.
Is he not showing you that? I was just wondering when you said, oh, I'm squeamish, I wondered if it was because that was lying about, because he said, oh yeah, I had these magazines and it would show you like how you know,
They probably
something
hid
horrible.
them from us because we were squeamish.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Is Sam squeamish as well, a little bit? Or
I don't know.
not sure. Not sure.
No,
He's
he
probably-
hides a lot of stuff. He
Yeah.
hides a lot of stuff from us, but that's just him.
Yeah.
I hide a lot of stuff as well. It's just what you want to talk about, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose it is. Yeah. It's you don't want to talk about everything.
No.
I'm learning that by doing this. Yeah, what was I going to ask you? You had a issue. I didn't know about this until
Oh,
recently.
didn't you?
had a leg issue.
Legs, plural.
Legs, both legs.
Yeah.
What was it?
It's a very difficult name to pronounce, I think, if I remember right. It's called osteochondritis dissecans, I think.
Yeah.
It's like an issue with your bone cartilage in your knees.
Really?
It's quite a rare sort of condition.
Yeah.
And I remember vividly that we were actually on holiday, and then my knees started to play up, and I was apparently really sort of like complaining every second, and then I got scolded for it, and then they didn't, obviously, because they didn't know, my parents didn't know what it was about, and then obviously until we got back from holiday, and then we found out about them, and so I was 10, roughly 10, 11 when I got diagnosed with the issues in my knees, and then that sort of, I wouldn't say I was then classed as disabled, but I was disabled to a point where my mobility was down very, very low, so I could hardly bend my knees to a point.
Really?
And so when I was obviously primary school, it was, I couldn't do any sport. I couldn't run. And at the very, very beginning, it was very hard to just walk and up the stairs as well. And
So was it like, were your legs just not do it, or was it painful? Or
it was painful. They hurted all the time, and so I had to do a lot of. It was either physiotherapy or an operation to get them right. But my parents opted for physiotherapy because I couldn't really make the decision myself, and that. So I was happy that they chose that for me.
Yeah.
Which made my legs stronger. It definitely improved my mobility. And I still have trouble with my knees today, and that because I'm an avid gym goer. So like when I'm doing say a leg days, and that when they start hurting, I just say, right, they're hurting, stop.
Yeah.
That sort of thing, and that's why I do a lot of swimming.
Hurting in a different way, I suppose.
Yeah. But and then
Swimming's good for joints.
Swimming and that. So obviously it's less. There's no pressure on my knees, and it's a really good exercise anyway.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, I love swimming and that. But I sort of avoid the more strenuous activities nowadays as well.
Like running and things like that.
Yeah. I mean, I can run now, obviously after all of that physio, but I have to sort of I can do, if it's a gentle jog, I can do about 10 seconds. And then I have to stop.
Really?
Yeah, because it's obviously it ricochets, doesn't it? The pressure ricochets up your leg, and I don't think running generally is very good for anyone.
No.
And I don't know why people do it, but yeah,
Some people are really into
it gives you obviously all your endorphins and makes you feel better, and it made me feel better because I was trying to do that when in my last year at uni when I was stuck at home.
Yeah.
And that, but all the way through, obviously the last few years of primary school, all the way through secondary school, I was doing the bare minimum in PE, which I wasn't necessarily complaining about, but I got bullied a lot for it, and then, which made me get a little bit more of a thick skin, even though I don't really have a lot of that at the moment in some areas.
Yeah.
It made me sort of think, why are kids like that?
Yeah.
I mean, just leave me alone. And that you don't have a knee condition, just leave me alone, you get on with it. But I did get out of cross country, which was the best thing ever.
Yeah, I hated that.
Because that was just horrible, because I was on the sidelines, nice and dry, even though it was like raining a lot of the time, and because it was the time of year it was.
Yeah.
I had my hood up, I was nice and dry
Chilling.
underneath my hood, with a stopwatch saying, come on guys, keep it going, and I was just standing there. It was so
You got
much
your
fun.
own back.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Kids are like that though, aren't they?
Yeah.
Everyone, I think a lot of people, obviously to varying degrees, have like stories of that in their past, and like it's not nice, is it? But like kids are just, they find any little thing and they'll just like
I think also they don't realise what they're doing a lot of the time as well.
No.
Even nowadays, I've been bullied at uni as well for it. But obviously it's not as noticeable because you're not doing PE and all of that. But even then and even now, I struggle going up the stairs and then sort of yes, it's obviously a leg workout and that. But my stairs up my house in Leeds, they're very, very steep, and I'm right at the top. So there's 3 floors, so I'm right at the top. So I'm having to go up and down that multiple times a day. And I can tell they hurt after, at the end of the day, because it's just a lot of pressure on them. But
so is it like have you ever had to have any kind of like, you never had to have any sort of medicine or like antibiotics for it? Then you've just no, not that I can remember, because it obviously like with antibiotics and that is obviously that would be to remove an infection and that sort of thing. It was not. I don't know what I'm talking about. By the way.
It said it's not an infection, that sort of thing. Just it's basically in its simplest simple way I can put it, your bone on your cartilage on your knee peeled off a little bit, and then sort of where your sort of growth plates are and sort of like the fluid that goes, up and down like around your bones and stuff like that, it sort of blocked that a little bit. So that's where the limitation of my mobility happened and that sort of thing. So obviously with that physio, that's sort of obviously just trying to help all of that. So yeah.
Is it good having parents who are medical, or is it?
It definitely helped because they knew what they were talking about.
Yeah.
Because even when and that, because obviously I trust them so much and that, and then I just left it in their hands and I knew what they were talking about, because when I was at the hospital appointments and all that, the doctors and all that were saying, right, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, and then we're doing this and that sort of thing. So it was really nice to have them in my corner with that. And that, because if I didn't have parents who were medical, I probably would have ended up having that operation, which could have left my knees at different lengths.
Really?
Because I was still growing at the point, because I was 10, I hadn't stopped growing, so I could have ended up with one leg longer than the other or shorter.
Wow, yeah. So yeah, it's helpful.
Yeah, definitely helpful.
Yeah. I know my mum uses it quite a lot with Tracy. She's always sort of saying she's got something, and she asks me about it, and I'm like, you need to speak to, don't you? It's not me.
I've got a medical question.
Yeah, she loves it.
Yeah.
Your mum's got ponies, hasn't she?
She has got ponies.
Do you like spending time with the ponies too?
Of course I love them, yes.
They're cool, aren't they?
Yeah, they're awesome.
So what kind of ponies are they?
They're Shetland ponies.
Yeah, so they're like miniature size.
Miniature Shetland ponies, yeah. They're unfortunately too small to ride.
Yeah.
Because I used to ride and all of that. But yeah, no, if you're Benji's age, you can probably ride them,
Yeah, if you're little.
If you're little like him. No, but they're so beautiful, they're just, we walk them like dogs.
Yeah.
And then the amount of people that say, are they dogs? When they come up to us on the side of the road.
Really?
And I'm like, do they really look like dogs to you?
Are they dogs?
And that, because, one, they've got a mane. 2, they've got a horse face.
Hooves.
Hooves, yeah. They're nothing like a dog, even from a big distance.
No.
And I think they just do that
I'm pretty sure I knew they were
as a conversation starter. I think they just say that.
Yeah.
It's just stupid.
It's a big dog.
But they're lovely. They're lovely.
Good fun.
Yeah. They're cheeky.
Yeah.
Cheeky, yeah. They can bite you and they can step on your foot, that, because Betty is the heavier one and the older one and that. So it's sort of like they don't realise that they step on your foot sometimes, and then when they do, they are so heavy. And then you'll want to scream out loud, but you try not to.
Yeah.
And you get a massive bruise at the end of it. Because I remember, she stood on my left toe, and I had a massive bruise on half my foot.
Really?
For like, I don't know, 3 months.
Up all the way up your foot, like.
Pretty much, probably just like half of the foot. Yeah.
Oh wow, really?
So it was
remember
not
they nearly
nice.
stepped on me a couple of times when I did it, and I thought, that must hurt.
And still, never walk behind them, because even when they're tiny like that, they will boot you.
Yeah. See you in a bit. Oh dear, that doesn't sound good. No. I'm guessing that hasn't happened to any of you yet.
No, because we know not to stand behind them.
Yeah. Well, your mum knows as well because
Yeah.
did she horse ride for like a lot of her?
Yeah, a lot of the youth. She did horse competitions and horse riding competitions. Did a lot of dressage, and that when she was growing up. And then we had another horse before the ponies and that. So, but yeah.
How long did you do it for then?
How long I'll probably say a couple of years.
Yeah.
Not as long as my mum, but
No. Had a go at it.
Yeah. I mean, I really loved it. But yeah, it just fizzled out.
Yeah.
Because of my other bits that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I've always been a bit scared of them, really, especially big horses. Like,
No.
just haven't spent time.
No, I
around
mean,
them.
my brother, he was very scared of Anatole, who we had before the ponies, and that because she was 16 hands.
Yeah.
So she was a big girl,
Big.
But he loves these two, and because they're obviously smaller than him, so
Yeah.
he's not as frightened from them by them. So yeah, it's nice.
No, I think Gemma found them a bit like she was a bit nervous around them when we first, and so was I a little bit because they're just like, even though they're small ponies, they're still got big heads and
Oh yeah.
got a lot
Have
of
to be
weight
careful
behind
with them.
Yeah, definitely. Why are you such a big Star Wars fan, Emma? Where did that start? Was it with the prequel?
Well, I obviously grew up with the prequels. Prefer those obviously to the sequels and that, but obviously overall, originals hands down.
Yeah.
I actually don't know where my love of Star Wars came from.
Yeah.
My dad loves Star Wars, so it might have come from that. My mum's not that keen on it, but
Not bothered.
and then my brother, he's an avid Star Wars fan as well. So I think naturally it's just what we've been exposed to. Like again, going back to the topic of technology, and obviously when the TV was about, it was what we ended up watching really. And that because I'm big into the Clone Wars, the animated series as well, and then looking
I've not
forward to
seen
the.
that.
It's really good. You're missing out. You really do.
Is that on Disney?
Disney Plus, and then you've got Andor, you've got Ahsoka coming up later this year, so I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And then you've got Bad Batch as well. That's really good as well.
So you're into every aspect of it.
Literally, I'm such a nerd. I mean, I'm a nerd for that, and then Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Hobbit, Star Trek, all of that sort of thing. So
yeah, I suppose you're at that point now where it's just like you're into it so much that you're gonna just watch them anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's second nature just to watch it. It's just, I mean, it's some things I can just watch over and over and over again and never get bored of them.
Yeah.
And that is one of them.
Yeah. All the original films.
Yeah. And again, when you keep, I don't know, it's the same with like reading and all that sort of thing. If you read the thing again, like read a certain book or watch a certain film again and again and again, you always find something different, and you always sort of see things in a different way, and you pick up more.
It's weird, isn't it?
Pick up something else.
It's interesting that I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
You get more of the story then, don't you? So you get more of an all-round sort of view.
Yeah, and you just see it differently. Like, you just listen to the way. Like for me, like with music, I do that a lot. Listen to an album I've not listened to for like 5 or 6 years, and it's just like you just hear it. You hear the person or whatever it is in a completely different way.
Yeah,
and I suppose it's because you've changed and like. It hits you differently.
Yeah, it resonates differently, doesn't it?
Yeah. What kind of? You said you earlier like some of the classics. Like which are some of your favourite like classics books?
Well, Jane Eyre. And then you've got obviously Emily Bronte's work, and I studied English literature in A level, so I studied Wuthering Heights, and I have no idea why they wanted us to compare it with poetry. That was a challenge. No, but I really, really loved that. And that was very, very powerful book, Wuthering Heights. Definitely recommend that one.
Not read that one.
Yeah, it's a toxic love relationship between clashing of societies and status and all of that. So it's very, very good. And then Pride and Prejudice, Emma.
Yeah.
Obviously, not me, obviously, but yeah, not me. Yeah, and just all of those. Dorian Gray, that's a really good one as well. Just I love all of them, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Great Expectations.
I'm not going to ask you about like what your book's about or anything that you're writing one, but how hard is it writing a book?
Hard.
Yeah. Where do you start?
Well, this is going to seem like I'm never going to finish it.
Yeah.
Because I actually had the idea when I was about 14 or 15, and then I started writing it.
Yeah.
And then the prose was absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
And then my GCSEs got in the way, so I had to stop it and focus on that. Yeah. And then I started it up again, and then I had to stop because of my A-levels. And then again with uni. So all of that, obviously what happened in my life with obviously the educational bits, prevented me from, continuing that, and I've just started to pick it back up again. So it's taken me a while to sort of, obviously I had to reread it. And I had to thinking, right, where am I up to? And again, just remind myself what I'm actually writing. Because it was that long ago since I actually vividly, really sort of like got stuck into it. Yeah. And that's why I've rewritten it basically.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you rewrite it?
Yeah. Said it was, the prose is, oh God, and that. But yeah, no, I've rewritten what I wrote originally, and I must say it's a lot better. Still could do with a bit of polishing, but then again, that's a second and third and fourth draft, or however many drafts I want to do at the end of it. But yeah, so I'm about halfway, or just thereabouts. And that. So I'm hoping, and that if I can get it done by the end of the year.
Really?
Yes. Okay. Or early next year. I don't know. I'm trying not to set myself too much of a strict timeline, but no. But I feel like if I set myself a realistic goal, then it can be achievable.
That actually might happen.
Yeah. I do want to publish it, and I do think it's. And I've had a lot of teasing from my brother and my dad, and even my mum sometimes. I'm thinking, oh, you're never going to get it done, that sort of thing. It's like, oh, what sort of like film or whatever you're copying it from? I'm not copying it from anyone.
Yeah.
And that it's an authentic, original book from me.
Yeah.
And that.
Yeah, you do it, Emma.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what people say.
Makes me happy. I can design my own book. I can self-publish it. I can do whatever I like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just hoping it will be something that people will read.
Yeah. How will it be like actually getting it printed or whatever? Like, I suppose it's like a lot of things now. You can get like low volume, like starter.
I haven't.
Press or whatever.
I've looked into it a little bit, but I want to write it first.
You get it done first.
Get it done first. Get that out of the way, and then look into it a bit
Worry
further.
about that later.
Yeah, I do have a few contacts in the publishing area, so I'll go to them first and see what they think.
I'll give it a read.
Yeah.
I'll try and read it.
As long as you like sci-fi.
Yeah.
Do you like sci-fi?
I do like
That's
sci-fi.
That's fine then.
Yeah. I do like a bit of sci-fi. Yeah. I don't know where I read this. I think it was on your CV.
God, stalker.
Yeah. I got to get some information on you. I don't know you that well.
You've known me virtually my whole life.
Yeah, but I knew you when I was really little, and then I didn't know you for a while. And now I know you again.
There you go.
I saw that you'd done a massive cycle ride.
Oh yes, that was God. That was A-level. Yeah, we did did it for Help for Heroes, the charity. I think as a form group, because there was about 25 of us, I think, in the form group. We did a collective of probably about 40 to 45 miles each,
right,
on a bike to raise money for it. So we did it actually at RAF Scampton, so on the track. So we just kept going round and round and round and round, and I could not feel my legs after that.
Really?
And it was doubly kind of special for me, because not only was it obviously helping the charity, but it was also a way to sort of see how far how I could go with my knee condition as well. So I was challenging myself in that regard. And I managed to do 42. And my friend did the other 3 for me. That was one lap basically. But yeah, I managed to do that, and it was a whole day event and that. But I was dead by the end of it. Literally. I think everyone was. I could not feel my legs at all.
40 odd miles is is a long way.
Yeah, it was
isn't
very, very windy that day as well. So half of the track was fine because obviously you had the wind behind you, but then the other half, it was actually the bit that was uphill, and so that was not a nice
Getting
bit.
pushed the other way.
Yeah.
What kind of bike was it? Was it a proper road bike? Or?
It was a mountain bike that I had,
Really?
so it was heavier. So
That is hard.
Yeah.
40
so it
odd
was-
miles on a mountain bike.
Yeah, so it was a difficult, and some of them, some of the form group had road bikes and that, but
Yeah. Well, they
I
were-
think the majority of us had just an ordinary sort of bike that you just
Normal bicycle.
go around the village with, and
That's
ordinary.
pretty good going then on a normal
Yeah.
bike. I wouldn't want to do that. So I suppose cycling's not as bad on your knees, and really, I suppose it's still bad, but it's not like
it's not as high impact as say running is, and I still love cycling today, but it's a nice sort of exercise for me. But as I said, any type of exercise is challenging. Even swimming's challenging.
It just depends what you want to improve about it, or like there's always something you can better yourself in when you do sports or anything like that.
Yeah, so I go to the gym and all of that for to keep my legs strong, to keep obviously preventing my knees from getting any worse, and that. So I do it in that sense, and then I also do it because I love going. And that
good feeling from it.
Yeah. I mean, it's just you escape it. It's another escapism form.
I always feel like when you do exercise, it's like you transform like physical energy into like mental energy. It's strange, isn't it? You just feel good after you've done it.
Oh yeah. It's the endorphins. I mean, like every time when I feel stressed or I just want a breather, and even just going for a walk, and that's the most underrated activity ever. Just walking, and just doing that, it clears your head. You're less stressed after it, and you're thinking, I've got before that you've got so much on your mind, and when you've done exercise, you're like, it's lifted. All of that tension, all of that is lifted, and you as you said, you feel good after it. And you can, I've done that, and then you're calmer, and you can breathe nicer, and it's just that nice feeling afterwards.
Do you ever like take notes and things? Because some people write about things, don't they? It's something I've been interested in. I've never tried it myself, but like
writing about exercise.
No, not writing about exercise, but like writing about. Taking notes about things that are in your head, and then you sort of got them down on paper. I suppose a little bit
like ideas, or
or just like thoughts, or because like you said earlier,
so like writing your own sort of personal diary.
Kind of, yeah.
I don't have that.
No,
and that's something secret to everyone. So you shouldn't
ask.
Really ask that question.
No, I don't mean like tell me what you've written down.
No,
I mean
no.
do you find you don't do it?
No.
But like I hear people talking about writing stuff down, and I think that must be quite. I've never tried it, but I'd like to try it.
I don't have a personal diary because
I
don't see the point.
No, me neither.
But I do write things down in the sense that if I've got like an idea for a drawing, or something that can help with work or whatever. I mean, in that moment, you could easily forget it like 2 seconds later. So if you've got that idea, write it down. In a book somewhere, and then if you want to come back to it, then
it's
go
there,
back to
isn't
it. It's there. You've noted it down, and so I do that sort of thing if I've got an idea.
Yeah.
So like with my book, and if I've got an idea, and I just write it down, and if it doesn't, match up with what I'm writing or what I feel like the end result should be, then I just eliminate it. But
just leave
I've
it.
got that idea down, and because the amount of stuff that goes through your head and the amount of stuff that you do as an adult, you can easily forget it.
Oh, it's like sort of 10% of it, isn't it?
Yeah,
that you actually do.
Literally.
Yeah.
Because I sometimes forget what I've had for breakfast in the morning.
Yeah.
Which is like I have the same thing every morning, and it's just weird. The fact that I forget what I had.
Someone asks you, and you go, because you're in the zone.
I should know this and that because I have the same thing every day.
Yeah. What skill would you? It's a bit of a random one, but what skill would you like to improve or something that you'd like to?
Skill I'd like to improve.
Something that you feel like you'd like to get better at with your job, or even in personal stuff that you do, like.
Ooh.
Bit of a tricky one.
That is a tricky one.
It's all right because I can cut pause out, so you can take as long as you want.
Oh, they might want to think. They might want to hear my cogs turning in my head.
Yeah, maybe.
Ooh.
Do you want me to tell you one? Because I haven't thought about this really, but I could say about me if you want.
Yeah, go for it.
What skill would I like to improve? I actually haven't thought about it.
You're thinking and I'm thinking, so we're probably going to think at the same time.
Probably for me, it's people skills, like just working with people, because like I don't really have to work with many people. I sort of do everything on my own, and it's kind of.
I probably agree with that for me as well, because I'm generally quite a shy person, so that's why I've got a lot of introverted type of activities that I prefer to do when it's just done by myself and that. But for work and that, I'm improving on communication skills and all that. But again, that comes with experience, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
And it's who you feel comfortable with, because I'm fortunate in that sense that I've got really, really lovely colleagues, and literally I can just be myself with them, and
part of growing up,
it makes a big difference. And I can be just myself and my family as well, which is really, really nice. So definitely probably that in work, probably just improving on that, even though I'm fine now with it. It's just you can never be, you can always improve on the things that you're good at, and that's there's never a stopping point. Yeah
Definitely. It's fun to improve. It's fun to improve things like every time you do them, isn't it? And like try and think like, right, last time I did this time I'm going to try and I'm aware of that, and I'm going to like make sure that's good, and then I can move on to something else, sort of thing.
And I think also with work, I would love to stop stressing. That would be a good one. Because stress is not good.
You mean just getting stressed about it, even though you know you can do it, you just stress.
And I think also I've had this problem throughout probably my whole life with obviously all the work that I've produced, and even in my personal life, what's the word, judge too much on what I do, so I don't feel like I'm good enough in a lot of things. Like, is this work? It's part of obviously with how I am as a perfectionist, sort of in work related terms. Like, is this work good enough? Is this enough to hand in for my final project at uni? Is this up to the standard that I could normally do? Is it a good standard? Et cetera, et cetera. And I do that with my art and all that, and drawing and stuff.
Beat yourself up about it.
And then I beat myself up of who I am just generally as a person. And I think I sort of self-sabotage myself quite a lot of the time.
I did it yesterday. I was doing it to myself yesterday, and I thought, just chill out, mate. Like, everything's all right. I've had a lot of advice from multiple people, and I just try to sort of, if I get into that mindset, and that I just try and psych myself out of it. And that's also where exercise, drawing, and even sometimes work just gets in that way to sort of distract me from thinking negatively like that. Gets beyond it.
So I think that is probably my biggest one of self-sabotage, between probably more towards my personal life than work and that, because I do keep my work and my personal life completely separate, and I'm always on it at work and that, but I just sort of let myself go a little bit in my personal life, because that I can afford to mess up a little bit, but obviously because I love my job, I don't want to mess that up.
I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. I feel like the same. I feel like work's the key goal, and the rest of it's kind of like, I'll get round to that sort of thing. Sometimes I think it takes time to get used to sort of balancing those two things. I
still don't have a perfect work-life balance, and that because it's probably more work than life at the moment. But
sounds like you're trying to prove yourself though, and you're trying to.
Well, I want to get my foot in the door. I'm in my early sort of career, and I just want to do the best that I can. And get to my highest potential. And obviously that will take years and years of experience and all that. I just want to do the best that I can.
So. Relax later.
Well, that's when you're dead.
Yeah, exactly. What I asked you there, skills. What's I just read this phrase on the website, the place you work for. UX and UI. What's UX?
User experience.
User experience, that's what it is. Of course it is,
And UI is user interaction.
User interaction. Yes. I was thinking user interface.
Well, it's the same. User interaction, user interface, It's all about, it's going back to how the user perceives the website, and that is how they interact with what you've designed and what you're promoting and what as a service, and that is sort of like how they can navigate that website to sort of get what they want.
Yeah. The streamlined thing. Yeah, just a bit of a side one because I wasn't really sure what that meant. And I thought I'd just ask you instead of Googling it. Oh yeah, well, recently we've started using a company. I didn't even really know about this until James mentioned it, but we've started using a company to look at our website and try and improve it a bit.
And you didn't ask me.
I know. And then your mum just said to me recently that you were talking about that. And I thought... I
feel betrayed. I feel betrayed.
I know. But it's out of my hands. I didn't go to this company. But yeah.
Well, tell James to come to me.
So when he said that, when my mum said that to me, I thought, I'll ask Emma about that.
Well, I've already told your mum what I think can be improved.
Exactly, yeah. And your mum mentioned that to me. But yeah, I still think it'd be cool to like get you involved in it at some point though.
Yeah.
And have a look at it.
I'll be down for that.
Yeah. Yeah, have a look at it and just come and talk through it with you and see what you think. Yeah, you'd be interested in that.
Oh yeah,
that's your favourite thing.
Yeah,
that's what you do.
Websites.
It's what you do every day, isn't it?
That's me.
Yeah. Is it mainly websites that you're working on?
Yes.
Yeah, it's mainly websites. So it's your key area.
My key area. Yes.
What's the meaning of life, Emma?
My meaning of life.
What's your meaning of life? What is the meaning of life to you? It's my last question.
That's, oh my god, what's my meaning of life?
I always like to surprise people with it.
Well, this is a surprise. It's like I probably won't even be able to answer this.
You don't have to answer it.
My meaning of life. Well, I suppose it's the same as what anybody else really thinks. I just living it as best you can.
Yeah.
Following through with what you feel like you want to do. So like for me, reaching my potential in terms of what areas I love. So obviously that's art and design. Meaning of life. Does that mean what sort of like future goals or?
No, just like what do you think? Like why are we here? Like what's the point?
Oh
of being
God,
here?
I don't know.
That's your answer.
I don't know. We're here because we're here. It's the mystery.
Get on with it.
Yeah, it's the mystery of. I mean, you can. Anyone thinks. Anyone can think anything that they like. I mean.
Yeah.
That's where religion comes in, doesn't it? And so
definitely.
I personally don't know why we're here. No. And I certainly believe that we're not the only person in the universe.
No.
This planet with living people.
Yeah. What about even the galaxy, maybe?
There's loads and loads of galaxies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, even the closest one's like very far away. Isn't
oh
it?
God,
So,
yeah. I would love it. I would love it if I was still alive to see something like Star Trek actually happen.
Yeah.
Just to,
Yeah.
zoom into space.
Travel out into space.
Yeah. That'd
Cool,
be fun.
wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Be cool. Yeah.
That would be fun.
I would be interested in seeing that as well. Hopefully.
Yeah, so I believe in that.
Hopefully there's a way to look into the future.
Yeah, and it's like
in our lifetime.
And it's like, the conflict between science and religion, isn't it? It's sort of like, because I believe in sort of like half and half.
Yeah.
Because obviously you've got the science fact and then you've got,
human belief.
And then you've got, texts and stuff that are, thousands and thousands of years old, which, could have been elaborated on so many times. So it could be, all a farce, but who knows?
Yeah, you don't know, do you? I suppose.
No.
Yeah, I suppose it's all up in the air, isn't it, really?
I mean, I've grown up as a Christian, so obviously it would be nice to believe in, all of that. And in some ways, obviously I've been away from the church for quite a few years, but I would like to believe that it's all true, but I do believe in the science fact as well. So it is. I try not to just think about that and
I was going to say, it sounds like you don't think about it too much because
no, I think about what's in front of me, what I can see, and
what you can actually change.
Yeah, is that's the real thing.
That's the thing,
it's
isn't it? As humans, you can think about all that stuff, but really, what you can actually change.
That's just personal thought, isn't it? It's it's nothing concretely. There's no evidence.
To be fair, like I don't have any big opinion on it really.
No.
I like hearing people's opinions on it.
I mean, it's
I'm always interested in that question with people, and like what they think about the most. What about life are they sort of focused on? And it's interesting asking it, because everyone sort of answers. Sometimes they answer it in a different way, but it means the same thing. But generally, it sort of shows you what they're focused on, and like it's interesting. But yeah.
There you go.
You enjoyed doing that? Was it good?
That was a very tough question. I feel like I didn't really answer it.
No, it's fine. Yeah, you don't have to answer it. Someone asked me it. Like, a couple of people asked me about it, and I just couldn't.
So you're just being equally as mean and answering it, giving as the question.
Yeah. Thanks, Emma.
That's okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me.
No worries. Yeah, it was good fun. Yeah. I'll pause it.
Welcome back. Thanks for listening to that episode. I really enjoyed talking to Emma. I think she was a little bit nervous about it all, but I think it went well, really. It was interesting to learn more about her. That's the most interesting thing about this, really, is just that it's all this stuff that you just don't know about people, and you never do get to know, really, because you don't ask them these sort of deep, more long form questions. Even just an hour and a half with someone is really revealing. So yeah, I enjoyed it. Some people have been asking about the music. All the music's some old things that I made sort of back in ever since sort of 2013, 14. They're all just tracks I've made in the past. So I just dropped them in. Some of them are online, some of them are on Bandcamp, if you know that, and SoundCloud. I've not got anything on Spotify because I think you have to pay to put music on Spotify. But yeah, it's all on the internet somewhere. Thanks for listening. See you again in the future.